She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She didn't even argue. She just stopped trying. And that silence shattered him more than any breakup ever could. You see, when a woman loses interest, it doesn't always come with fireworks or dramatic exits. Sometimes it comes in the form of quiet withdrawal, a fading laugh, shorter texts, less eye contact. A love dying not with a bang, but with a whisper. Today we're diving into one of the most haunting questions many men wrestle with in the dead of night. Why did she stop loving me? But more importantly, what does a Stoic do when the woman he loves begins to drift away? Stay with me till the end, because this isn't just about relationships. It's about becoming a man who doesn't collapse when the world no longer meets his expectations. This is the modern Stoic. Let's begin. Meet David. Late 20s, ambitious, kind, committed. He met Sarah in the middle of a brutal winter. Her smile made him forget the cold. Her warmth made him believe in forever. They started like every beautiful story does. Messages that turned into calls, calls that turned into dates, and dates that turned into dreams. She looked at him like he was everything. He looked at her like she was the missing piece. But over time, something changed. It wasn't sudden, it was subtle. She laughed less. She avoided eye contact during dinner. She didn't complain. She just stopped caring. David noticed, but he couldn't name it. So he did what many men do. He tried harder, bought gifts, sent long texts, asked her what was wrong. She always said, "I'm just tired." But tiredness doesn't explain emotional absence. And then one evening she said, "I think we need space." David felt like the ground beneath him had vanished. He sat there silent, trying to replay the last few months. Had he said something wrong? Had he failed to notice her needs? The ambiguity of her withdrawal drove him mad. He stopped sleeping properly. He reread old messages, hoping to find clues. He started questioning his worth as a man, a partner, and a person. But David would soon discover that the end of love is not the end of a man. Here's where many men fall apart. They internalize rejection as worthlessness. They believe that if someone stops loving them, it must be because they weren't enough. But what does Stoicism teach us? Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The Stoic man doesn't beg. He doesn't chase. He doesn't collapse. He reflects. He asks, what was within my control? What wasn't? What expectations did I project onto her? What emotions am I resisting? He returns to the foundation of all Stoic teaching, mastering himself. Let's break this down deeply. Women don't just wake up and lose interest. It happens gradually, often silently. And understanding it requires honesty, not blame. 1. Emotional disconnect. When communication shifts from connection to convenience, she begins to feel like she's no longer being heard. A woman often craves emotional presence over material gifts. When she feels unseen, she detaches. 2. Loss of masculine polarity. Masculine energy is direction, purpose, leadership. If that fades, if the man becomes reactive, uncertain, or overly accommodating, the polarity disappears. She may respect you, but she won't feel attraction. 3. Complacency. Growth is attractive. When a man stops growing, physically, mentally, spiritually, she senses stagnation. The relationship starts feeling like a loop rather than a ladder. 4. Over-availability. If you're always available, always texting, always affirming without boundaries, it can shift from sweet to suffocating. Mystery is lost. Value feels diluted. Desire fades. 5. Neglecting. Purpose. Men lose women when they lose themselves. A man who abandons his mission for the sake of love eventually becomes resentful or hollow, and she feels it. 6. Silent resentment. Unspoken grievances stack like bricks. If issues aren't addressed honestly, she mentally checks out long before she physically does. 7. Insecurity and emotional fragility. Constant questioning, jealousy, and emotional volatility can make a woman feel emotionally unsafe. She starts to guard her heart. Now here's the truth. She may have loved you deeply, but love alone cannot replace presence, polarity, or purpose. So what does a Stoic man do when the woman he loves begins to lose interest? 1. He grounds himself in reality. He sees what it is. It's not what he wishes it to be. He doesn't chase illusions or try to bargain with emotion. He honors the truth, no matter how painful. 2. He reflects, not ruminates. Reflection is purposeful. Rumination is destructive. A Stoic journals his emotions, examines them, and moves forward with clarity. 3. He reclaims his inner kingdom. Your thoughts, habits, and purpose, this is your domain. Build it, guard it. She may have left your life, but she cannot take your virtue with her. 4. He reinvests in his mission. Purpose is a man's anchor. Without it, he drifts. With it, he attracts. Return to your mission. Not to make her regret leaving, but to remind yourself of who you are. 5. He builds a life. He'd admire not for Instagram, not for revenge, for the mirror. Ask yourself daily, would I want to date myself? 6. He practices voluntary discomfort, walk in the cold. Lift heavy, fast, embrace hardship willingly. It builds resilience and detachment from fleeting comforts. 7. He creates distance with dignity. She left or checked out, do not chase. Detach with grace. Let silence speak. Her absence is the answer. 8. He studies the nature of loss. As Epictetus said, never say about anything, I have lost it, but say, I have given it back. She was not yours to own. Her love was not yours to possess. You experienced it. Be grateful and let go. This isn't just about love, it's about life. The Stoic man learns to find stability in chaos, stand tall amid heartbreak, honor his values regardless of the outcome, see every loss as a refining fire, not a defining failure. He understands that women, like all things external, are not under his control. What is? His response, his virtue, his will. David changed, not overnight, not for show, but from the inside out. He became still, clear, dangerous in the best way, unshaken. He didn't build muscles to attract women. He built discipline to conquer himself. He didn't read books to sound smart. He read to understand. And eventually Sarah reached out. She said, "You seem different, more centered, happier." He smiled. "I am." But he didn't ask for another chance. He had already found what he lost, himself. When a woman loses interest, it can feel like the end. But for the Stoic, it is the beginning of reclaiming your mind, the beginning of rebuilding your soul, the beginning of walking through the fire and coming out forged. So if she stopped loving you, let her go. Thank her for the experience, bless her journey, and then walk forward with silence, with strength, with self-respect. Because the Stoic doesn't chase love. He becomes love, not the fleeting emotion, but the disciplined expression of purpose, presence, and peace. If this message stirred something in you, don't just scroll past. Comment your thoughts below. Tell me about your journey. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And most importantly, subscribe to The Modern Stoic. Because here, we don't just talk about motivation. We build men who are strong, silent, and unshaken. Until next time, stand tall, remain grounded, choose virtue,